Good day, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday. Sandrine, hello. We're lurking today. Let me give you a we're lurking. One quick second. If I can find it. All right. There we go, Sandrine. That's for you. Hope you had a great weekend. Hope you're having a great day. Let's go ahead and take care of some introductions. It's ready to go. Hello, everybody. My name is Shawn. I'm a photographer. I am based in Germany. Hopefully, wherever you are watching this, you can see a Linktree link within the description, and it will take you to every place I am on the interwebs. You can check it out. We all know that it's either one or the other. One or the other what? I don't know what you mean, Sandrine. If you would like to share your work with me and I can share it with the community, make sure down here that you can join my Discord, and I would be more than happy to share your work with the community. If you are watching this on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, like, subscribe, follow, hit the bell icon, all those things that you're supposed to do. It helps me out a ton. If you do have a Behance page and you would like to subscribe to me from there, you can also do that. Or you can, of course, buy me a cup of joe and get a cool wallpaper. Sandrine says, oh, either work or watching, not the two at the same time. It never really works. That's true. That's true. Whenever I am we're lurking, I miss too much going on. Jackie, hello, good morning. How is the snow where you're at? Just curious. I know it's supposed to be blistering cold in the Midwest and the East, Northeast. Yeah, vicious weather. I think in Iowa, where I just came from, it's supposed to be like negative 27 degrees Fahrenheit, which is freaking nuts. Just crazy cold. Ugh. I was there when it was a negative 14. That's too cold. Too cold, I tell ya. Not much here. Negative 20 with the wind chill. Ooh. Ooh. I'm glad I came back to Germany. It's like 4 degrees here Celsius. So just above freezing. Actually, when I was out running around today, it was 30 degrees Fahrenheit. So just below freezing. But negative 20. Oof. Ah. Thanks for popping in, Jackie. All right, we are going to be continuing on with our Lightroom Classic introduction. I have spent days going through and organizing. Oh, why? Oh, okay. Well, that's fitting. I already have the music turned off. We'll wait for this ad to finish. Okay, maybe not. So many ads. There we go. Let's jump into, let me see if I've got the music. Okay. What about the other side? Yep, we're good to go. I think. All right, I want to be on this side though. So, let's go ahead and grab an image. Let's grab this one. Where are we? Pompeii, the entrance to Pompeii. So as you can see, I prefer to shoot dark. Now, just anybody coming in, we've gone over the library mode. We're jumping into the develop mode. We've also gone through all of the masks, the red eye, the remove tool, and the crop tool. So now we're going to start getting into some of the basic lens corrections and our panels over here. I did, just to talk about this before, if you right click on a panel, you have a choice. You can customize your panel. You can show all panels. You can go into solo mode. You can expand all panels or collapse all panels. I prefer solo mode, but that's just me. If you go into your develop, you can always move your panels around and set it up for your workflow, whatever it is. Julian Cost from Adobe just put out, I think a week ago, a wonderful video explaining all of the AI masks and having to reconfigure your AI masks if you work out of Adobe's default order. It's a good video on YouTube. If you come across it, I highly recommend it. All right, let's go ahead and cancel out of that. Chrome and Craft. What setup you use for what? I'm curious, for what? For streaming? For what? By the way, welcome in. Good to see you. I'll wait before we start going. I don't want to start diving into something and then have a tangent right off the bat, but I know that always happens. Chrome. Stream setup. The screen you're using currently. Okay. Now, let me open something up really quick. Give me a quick second, everybody. Tony. Yeah, we're already on the tangents. This is... It's loading. This is an Adobe Express page. By the way, how you doing, Tony? I hope you're having a great day. That I made a while ago with a full explanation of how I stream. And if you would like to stream, what you would need. So let me go ahead. I'll throw this into chat because I'm more than happy to share. Oof. But this is a little bit outdated because it actually says that I'm streaming to Behance and YouTube, which I am not. I'm not streaming. I'm streaming to not Behance anymore. Live streams aren't there unless you are with Adobe Live. But I'm streaming to YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. I am using what is called Restream. And I can actually show you kind of basically what that looks like. Make sure nothing importance there. This is Restream. I had an interesting weekend. I saw a hit and run, and so taking care of that. So this is Restream, and it condenses all of the chat into one screen. And so that way I have Twitch open here. I've got Restream over there so I can see all the chats. Either way I'm looking. I have a Mac, 27-inch Mac there, 27-inch Mac there, and a M3 MacBook Pro over there. That I have the MacBook Pro set up to this monitor, and this is gonna get crazy. I am using get back here. I'm using Video Ninja to share the screen with that Mac that I'm streaming from. So it's quite a setup. Why did you do that? Okay, so basically, this needs to be updated, but as you can see, I've got a light bar above me. I have a softbox over there. I have two lights that are lighting my green screen. I have actually two cameras now, right here. And this 27-inch monitor is actually over in this small area. What else? Yeah, and I got a new monitor in the center. I've got a new mic. I'm using a Yeti now. Yeah, and so I'm missing, there's things missing, like my laptop and things like that. But hopefully, Chrome and Craft, that kind of answers your question. Again, this is outdated because I'm showing how to stream on Behance, so it needs to be updated. Please don't get me wrong or feel that way, but the way you're talking is very funny to me. In some sense, like you're a male version of Karen. Please don't get me wrong. I don't even know what that means. I have no idea what that means. If it's supposed to be a slight, okay. You don't have to watch. Okay. So, I don't think that was any help whatsoever. So we're going to dive back into Lightroom Classic. And for those of you over on Twitch, welcome back. And I'm getting spam, speaking of Twitch. There we go. Taking care of that. And back into Lightroom Classic. All right. So we're going to dive into the lens correction. Come on. And then YouTube gets me. It's going to be one of those days, I can tell. Sorry, I thought you'll not get me wrong, so I'm just saying. Just sorry. I don't really understand what it means. Okay. All right, so right off the bat, I have remove chromatic aberrations and enable profile corrections for your lens. What that is for, I've got that set up automatically. So when I am bringing anything in from specific cameras, go into preferences, come over and go into presets, I've got camera settings set up. So anytime that I bring something in, it automatically does those two features because I want that done automatically. So why should I have to click those buttons? I can do it when I come in. I'm not even from USA or like that, so maybe I don't know the weight of some words. Apologies. I honestly don't understand what you're talking about. Sandrine, welcome back. So removing chromatic aberrations. Removing chromatic aberrations are when you're getting those like purple tints around an image, and you can kind of see it happening over here just a little bit, but it automatically removes that. And then your lens profile, if we zoom back out, you're going to see it slightly bow depending upon the lens that you have. If I'm shooting with my fisheye lens, it's going to be more exaggerated, of course. If you don't understand, it's better to let it go. Okay. I was just trying to answer your question. You had a question, I was trying to answer it. Okay, so as you can see, it comes up with the lens profile, the lens that I used for this image. And is that the right lens? I'm questioning. Yeah, it is. I thought by the time I went to Pompeii, I already had my new lens. All right. Anyway, let's keep going with that. D for developed. You can also manually mess with the distortions. So let's come back out, you can play with them, set them up, double click on the word and it'll set it back to 0. And the vignetting from the lens, you can set that up. Pretty much I have that set at the top. It's already done. The only reason I even have that panel there is so that way I can show it to you when I stream. Okay. Getting into the transform. If I want to try to make this image as straight as possible, you can see a lot of going on. Right now, we have it set to off. If I come over and hit auto, you can see it's trying to straighten out some of the buildings. And it does an okay job. It does a good job. Let's go ahead, switch that off. You have level, which obviously is trying to create things level, trying to create things vertically level, or you could do a full and you can see what it's doing. Let's turn that off, hit it again. And now it's looking, and I think it really did a horrible job. It did a horrible job. So, I don't even know what it's trying to straighten it to. Let's go ahead and hit off. Now up here in the corner, they have a guides. So these upright guides, you can do up to 4. So let's say, and I've got my little loop right there. So let's say I want to try to make this building straight. So let's line that up, click and drag and release. And let's make this straight over here. A pizza box design. Or what? And let's make this roof line straight. Are you talking about branding? Okay, so it has twisted, has taken those 3 points that I made, and it has tried to straighten everything out. I could add a 4th, and we could really mess it up, and I say I want that straight, and that is when we got into the full. Rom, hello. Good to see you. A pizza box design. Do I want to open Illustrator? I want to get that going. I mean, I'm contemplating pizza box design. YouTube still in Christmas mood. Oh no. I mean, I am not a graphic designer. Well, Chrome, I am a photographer and an Adobe community expert, so I can pretty much use almost all the apps. I don't need this. Thank you very much. Introducing projects. I know. Let's go for a new one, 1920 by 1080. That's fine. Let's double check the settings here. I want to go 300 ppi. Let's create. Now, there are let me think here. What color do we want? Let's just go with a gray for right now. That's fine. Like thumbnails, wrappers, product boxes. And we can leave the stroke for right now. So for what it is that you are looking for, let's jump over to Behance. So behance.net/live. Today's schedule, there's a ton of stuff here. And if you scroll down to graphic design, you are going to see some amazing work done by great graphic designers that are building products. Right now, like what's going on today? Today we have from Jacob Paris an informational carousel, office hours, roller troll. Tomorrow, Air Nace, nice. Building a retail line, that's going to be on the 22nd. So these are really, really good and helpful. You can always check those out. And let's see what has been. We've got creative trends, but yeah. I don't think I want to get into this. I do not. We could go through, build the pizza box out. We could use a mock-up. We could do a whole bunch of different stuff. I really don't think I want to do that today. If we jump into Adobe Stock. Or, ooh, these are actually pretty nice. Let's see what's under free. What's the source of your mainstream earning? Photography and streaming. Well, we can. I'll do a quick mock-up. Let's do a quick mock-up. Just for funs. I can show off a couple cool tools. All right, let's get into our properties. Let's embed that. Thank you very much. Let's jump over here. Let's make our box a little smaller and ensure to hold shift for right now. Let's do a, where's my contextual taskbar? Where did that go? There we go. All right, Gen Fill. Let's do a 3D. I see you, YouTube. We're just going to do this really fast just to get some ideas going. 3D. Rubber hose. Character of a pizza slice. Let's see what we get. I've seen some good, possibly some good characters coming up. Don't know what is in his hand. I don't know why he's got a hairdryer. But that is pretty good. Not bad. All right. We need to get rid of the background. So let's see what we've got. Not our libraries. Let's get into our layers. Get into our character. Select that path. Let's delete that. Let's do a Command Y, see what we've got going on here. Okay, let's go ahead. We will ungroup. Select. Ooh, not all of that. Ungroup. Let's delete that. Okay, let's do a Command G. Let's group that really quick. Command Y, get out of that. Now, I do not like the colors that we have got going on here, so we can stick with the color. Let's get into our recoloring. And let's do a generative recolor. Let's try the Lavender Storm. Lydia. Are they delayed? Okay. I'm digging that color scheme right there. So let's go ahead. We are going to take this guy. Let's move him over here. Leave that right there. And what do we want to call our pizza? Let's go ahead and let's see. What do we want to call it? Lydia, thanks for letting me know. It's hard to keep track of everybody's different stuff. Let's go. Let's call it. Let me see, who do we have in chat? Oh, we got to go Ninja. Ninja. Ninja Pizza for Tony. Get back here. Kozel Hut. That's funny. What is going on? All right. Ooh. Let's hit I for the eyedropper. Oh, ah. Come on. That's just too good. Too good. All right. Let's make a copy of that. Get that over there. Grab this. Let's do a... We're... Oh, Is my home screen delayed? Possibly. Possibly. Let's get in. Why can't I get back? We'll call that good. All right. Let's grab that. Both of those. Let's do a Command G. We're going to group that. And let's drag this over here. Go a little bit bigger. And then we're going to go Object, Mockup. I select them all, Shawn. Come on. Object, Mockup, Make. I was not planning. And okay. So we've got it working now. Let's get it here. Move this around like so. Okay, now once you are in there, coming in and setting a multiply blend mode, get rid of the mockup panel, and there you go. Raven, it's nice to see you too. There's your pizza box. So the important thing is when you are in Illustrator and you are making sure that you're doing mock-ups. Mock-ups only work if you have a JPEG as your base image, and then everything else has to be vectors. So as you can see, generated a quick little character. We've got our ninja pizza. If we get back into our mock-up. Where'd you go? And edit.
Wenn du dich fragst, wo bekommst du mindestens 10?
And as, whoops. Let's try this again. All right. As you move our pizza guy around, you can see you can get it so it's wrapped around the box. Does a pretty good job. Does a pretty good job. All right. There's your pizza box. Oh, hold on. I'm gonna take a screenshot for Tony. All right. Frank, hello. Hope you had a good weekend. Oh, talking about the weekend. That's cool. It's a fun tool. It's a fun tool. It's a really nice way to quickly do mock-ups. I enjoy it quite a bit, to be honest, how easy it is. Whenever in the past I did any type of mock-ups, I would always jump into Photoshop. Photoshop is where I would always do it. Oh, Frank, yeah, pretty cold, but sunny. Oof. Yeah, I know where you're at. It detects the box as a 3D object from the JPEG image. Yeah, it does. Oh, you're gonna make me do it again. So it maps, it does a, why am I drawing a blank? It does a depth map. Oof. Rick, please don't tell me there's a pineapple on that pizza. Annika will be upset. Now you got me curious. There was. Where's my screenshots? Come on, Illustrator. No, it looks like a vegetarian. It looks like just some peppers, basil, and some sliced tomato. Chrome, I know you're here. Why are you saying that? Okay. So yeah, what it does is it creates a depth map. So let's do this again. Let's bring in our pizza box. Again, we could have brought anything else in. This is, you know, a box is pretty easy, but with what I can quickly show you. I wonder if these guys are. This is vector. It says it is. All right, so we've got 3 groups. Let's go ahead, ungroup. I like this guy. This will be interesting. Let's recolor. Get some color on this guy going. Ooh. Like that.
Kid0069 just followed.
Kid Zero, thank you so much for the follow. Greatly appreciated. You get a boom. Okay, I thought I hit generate. I guess I didn't. Hello. Welcome in. Let's see here. I'm like that one. Yeah, that's a nice color. I'm digging that. All right, making sure that that is all grouped. Now, in the pizza box, I ended up adding in I added text. And then I grouped it all. So there's different ways that you can do that. But I'm a beginner at Photoshop. Thank you for making content that helps. You are welcome. I will be doing a deep dive into Photoshop as soon as I'm done with Lightroom Classic. So stick around. In the next week, maybe Thursday or next week, I'll be doing a deep dive into Photoshop. These are just things that I like to do at the beginning of the year, just doing reintroductions to some of the apps. But we had a question about the remapping. So first off, let's make a copy. Let's bring this over. Let's go ahead, resize it to about what we would like. And you could rotate it. You could try to get it in position and all that stuff. You don't need to. So when you select the JPEG and also your vector, Mafu. Mafu gets a holy shnikes. How you doing, Mafu? Hope you had a good weekend. So when we go in, we select our JPEG and our vector. We go to mockup and we hit create mockup. It is what it's doing right now. It's looking at the image and it's creating a depth map of the image. So from here, as I move, let's zoom in so it's not so hard to see. As I move our bottle around, it knows where the depths, because the depth map is, so you can just move it around and place it freely. Very cool. Also, up here within the mock-up panel, you can see we have different styles here. So we have an envelope that you can place. We've got business cards. We have the tote. I love that tote. We have a book. So branding, graphics. We can go to apparel. We've got hats and ads. T-shirts, hoodies, little trucker hat. That's pretty cool. And of course, you can bring in your own JPEGs. We have our devices, so smartwatch, televisions, iPad or a pad. General, hello there. Computer. We've got all the different packaging, toothpaste, like coffee bag, mugs, coffee cup. Hold on, Mafu. Mafu says I messed so many timings up, but still excited. My tournament turned out to be today at 4 a.m. So I spent midnight training with friends, and my dad got me a new phone. Cool. I am doing okay. Let's see, packaging, and then under your mockups, you can save your mockups as templates so you can bring them back in if you like. So yeah, that's some pretty cool stuff. Which one did I like? Now, again, I can tell you right now what I did. Let's close this down. Again, what you want to do is you want to come over here and bring that into multiply. Multiply doesn't look good. Let's do normal and bring the opacity down a little bit. That works. Okay. The pirate whiskey bottle. Arr. Ow, I am going through the water. All right. Is there any other questions before we jump back into Lightroom Classic? Before we leave Illustrator? I don't know. Chat hasn't given him a name. So I don't know. How you doing, General? Hope you had a good weekend. All right. We're just going to take a screenshot. I've been wondering, what are midichlorians? Midichlorians. I don't know. I don't know. All right. Get out of Illustrator. All right, so we have gone, or we're actually halfway through the transform power. Making the work more easy, thanks, or showing it twice for us. No problem. Hi, Umacorn. Good to see you. It's a relatively new tool. Um, it makes things very nice. Very nice and easy. Okay, so we are in Lightroom Classic. We have gone over the top and the guided transformation tools. You also have vertical transformation. You've got manual, horizontal. You have rotate. And to be perfectly honest, I do not use any of these manuals. Almost 99.9% of the time, I never use them. I will use the guided to get the transformation that I would like. All right, let's jump into the basic panel. Basic panel. Now, as you can see up here with all the panels, you have this eyeball here. You can actually see what it is that you have done. Like I've got the lens correction, so the eye is on. I can always turn that off and on by clicking on the eye to see what it's doing if I want to, you know, see what I've done. Basic panel. This is going to be your starting panel. Now, it's recommended to do all the AI masking, the cleanup, all of that before you start diving into your global editing. Wafflehead, welcome in. Well, I have used Adobe Lightroom Mobile a lot, and it's very useful for color grading. I use curves mostly now, which is also useful. Wafflehead, curves are so freaking powerful. They are amazing. Yes, I absolutely agree with you. So first off, up here at the top, we've got auto, black and white, and HDR. Now, I am on an HDR screen. I could switch this up to HDR and I could see the difference, but streaming HDR, no. Unless you, first off, the compression wouldn't be good. Second off, unless you were on an HDR screen, you wouldn't see it. So I am not going to even mess around with the HDR to begin with. So we've got auto, and that just does an overall auto toning. And you can see that it goes through and it's done the white balance. It's moved all the sliders. It does not do presence, the texture, clarity, and dehaze, but it does everything else. So you can always do that. Let's go ahead, reset. And when I reset, okay, that's good, that's good. Get back into the basics. You have black and white, which is just a standard black and white. HDR. Now you have a profile, okay? So you've got adaptive color, you have all of these profiles. So these are the profiles that are from your camera. I've got mine set to camera standard. So if I want to go through, let's zoom back out. If I go adaptive color, which I know a lot of people like to do it, and it's thinking. I don't know why. There we go. And this is this is one that a lot of people like. Now, with profiles, you can see none of the sliders moved. So you have full control over all of the editing. Profiles are not presets. Presets, when you're using presets, they will go through and they will move all the sliders, which you can move back. Profiles do not do that. They are the profiles from the camera in which you used. So with it being an adaptive color, I can actually come in here and adjust the amount that is being used. Let's do Landscape. Meh. Portrait. Standard. Then you have the adaptive. So you get the slider back for black and white, which can be very useful. Then you've got monochrome. I like having the sliders. Okay, let's reset that. Now you see over here, you've got these boxes. If you open that up, this is giving you the previews now. So you still have control of what it is that you want, but you have the Adobe Raw, not presets, profiles. You have camera matching. So these are all from my Nikon camera. Then you have the adaptive. You have artistic. And as you hover over them, you can preview what it's going to look like, which is very nice. You have black and white. And so you have all of these black and whites. Then you've got modern. And then all the way at the bottom, you have vintage. There we go. So you can always, if there's a style that you like, that you want to start with, this is a great way to start. So you can always go in and star these and make them your favorites. And you can always mess with that. So you can close. Ooh, it's been updated. You've got large views, list view, and grid view. Nice. Okay, then we can close it. So those are your profiles. Nikon, whatever it is. Let's see. Let's move on. So you can always start with a profile. Then you have white balance. Now, this is one of the things, if I grab the eyedropper for the white balance and I start to move through the image, if you watch up here in the navigation window, you can see how it's changing. That's one of the things I love about the navigation. Now, the way this white balance tool works, a lot of people may not know about it. Now, if I click in the blue, it turned everything orange. And you may say, why did it do that? Well, in photography, white balance is different than in video. Video, you are trying to white balance to pure white. In photography, you're trying to get a neutral gray. Now, a neutral gray, if I zoom in, it's kind of tough to see. Let me get up here. There. This RGB that's in that box are the percentages of reds, greens, and blues in with where I'm color picking. So right now I'm at 65, 69, and 93 because it's a blue sky. Now, since you're trying to pick a neutral color like gray, I am coming down here and trying to find something with all three of those numbers very equal. So this is 28, 28, and 29 right now. So this would be a decent color to do a color pick. That's why you have gray cards. You have your model if you're shooting in the studio, or you could do this wherever. Have your model hold a gray card. Take a photo. Set your white balance. There you go. Really simple. So let's hit G. Do I have anything that's really off? This Italian trip. Okay, so you can see the oranges that we have got going on up here. Very noisy image, just a quick image that I took. And if I go in and I start looking for a gray, a neutral gray, it's picking up a lot of blues. $19. So if I click on that, you're not going to see much difference, right? It almost nothing changed up here in the orange, and I'm trying to get rid of those oranges. So make sure to come up here and like select up there. Now, it got rid of the oranges, but it made the rest of my image very blue to counteract those oranges. So I've got a couple different light sources that are happening here. This is where you would go in and create masks and maybe either do this in Photoshop, do Command C. You could do this in Photoshop. You could try to create a brush mask and just brush that in. I mean, let's just do that really quick. Since I'm talking about it, let's just grab a brush. And let's just brush in this area really quick. There we go. Now, unfortunately, you don't have the color picker. So you have to use your color temperatures. So if I'm eyeballing this, I know I need to add blues. Boom. Vikram. How you doing, Vikram? Bam. So I just created a quick mask to end up trying to balance the colors out. Oh, and with that, Vikram, you're the 100th chat today. So thank you, everybody. Congratulations for giving 100 chats. So that is a way that you can balance white balance within an image if you have multiple or different lighting situations. It's a quick little fix. So let's go ahead and reset that. Let's hit G for grid. Wow, did I lose focus there? Okay. Let's D for develop. We'll get back in. I don't want that. Where are we? Okay, that one has been edited. So let's open this one. White balance. So I love, in Lightroom Classic, I love using the eyedropper to get white balance, and it makes me happy. So white balance. One of the things that I like to do, my workflow, is I like to think about taking an image to its basic, what it is I saw when I took the photo. I like to get it at a starting point. I like to think of it as setting it back to zero. So like this image here is dark. I shoot dark. That way I can expose for the clouds and the sky. But I know it's dark. So I am gonna want to open some stuff up before I do any type of color grading or creative edits. This might be a good image. Let's go ahead and hit auto. We have all these people, and let's see how it does with removing people. So let's come in here. Let's open up people. Let's let it detect it. Working. Okay, so it detected all these people. And let me zoom out. That's not a person. Let's delete that one because that's not a person. But we have all those people. So let's go ahead. Let's hit remove. And let's let the remove tool do its thing. And bam! All the people are gone. That's the before. That's the after. Now, it did something funky back here. But I'm okay with it. Yeah, it did something funky over here too. You shoot dark, but you don't work blue. I do not work blue. That is true. All right. So we removed all those distractions, all those people. And let's go ahead. We're going to reset that image. And we're going to talk about it. Now, first thing you do when you're looking at an image, you can hit auto. You can say, hey, I'm going to give Photoshop, or excuse me, Lightroom, a shot at it. You may like the starting image, you may not. You can always just go ahead and hit reset. So we reset that. Now, you've got within the tone, you've got exposure. Now the thing is, these are all global edits. So it is adding 2¼ stop to the entire image. Okay, you've got, we can bring that up a little bit. I don't like doing it this way, so it's kind of blowing everything out. We've got our contrast, so you can make it soft, you can make it harsh. We've got our highlights for the sky. That's looking ugly. We can open up our shadows, and a lot. This tone matches the histogram. So if I move my histogram, if I move over my histogram, where I am within the histogram, it will light up over here with the number sliders. Okay. Ads are going to start in a minute, and I am out of water. I am dry. So I need to get some water, and I will be right back. So if you're on YouTube, hang out. I wasn't sure you'd get that. I got it right. I got it. I'll be right back. Hi, Devlin. Sleep dancing. Okay, a lot of talking today. So, back up here to the histogram. If I go ahead and let's say that I want to bring up our midtones, you can see down here, moving it in the histogram, it has moved it a plus 74 over here within the shadows. So I know some people do this. I usually don't work in the histogram, but some people do, and that's perfectly fine. So you've got your whites, your pure whites, and then your blacks, depending upon what you would like to do. And now down here, we've got texture, clarity, and dehaze. Texture, when this was made, initially it was for softening skin. And Adobe realized, wait a minute, if you go one way, it removes texture and it softens it. So that was what it was initially going to be used for. But then they realized if we go the other way, it brings out a ton of texture. So they decided to call it texture instead of like skin softening. And then people that don't do portraits probably wouldn't have used it. They would have said it's for skin. I don't need it. But having it as texture, it can be used for texture and also for softening. Great slider. Zoom out. The clarity, that is bringing out the contrast within the mid-tones. Look at the difference between here and up here where it's bright. It's bringing out, and so it's going way over the top. And clarity, again, it can completely soften. Or you can go crazy with it. So it's adding contrast into your midtones. Dehaze. Be careful with dehaze. Dehaze is exactly what it's supposed to do. As you can see with the atmospheric, the atmosphere that we've got. Other name suggestions, Dupebug, hello, hope you had a good weekend, for texture included clarity light, scrumptiousness, that's something extra, Shawn's favorite slider, or simply wow. Wow. Dehaze. So a little bit of dehaze can bring out the texture that we've got going on back here, but you do not want to go over the top. Be gentle with dehaze. Without that dehaze, I didn't even notice these were power lines up here. Wow, did not even notice that. Let's zoom out, and of course you can take dehaze the other way and add haze. So if we want it, when I was in Pompeii, it was hazy. There was still ash in the air, or so you can use it for that. The other one. Okay, I'm gonna start with saturation. If saturation adds saturation to everything. I dated a girl named D. Hayes. Yes, I had to be careful with her. Rick. It's an overall global saturation. No, I figured. So that means if you've got skin tones, it's gonna oversaturate everything. If you take it the other way, removing the saturation, it turns it into monochrome. Let's set that back. Vibrance. Vibrance adds saturation to unsaturated pixels. So vibrance is what you want to use on skin tones. You do not want to use vibrance. Or saturate. You don't want to use saturation. You want to use vibrance. So if we come back, we have a very unsaturated sky and the background over here, very unsaturated. So if I kick up the vibrance, it puts all the saturation there in those midtones, in those unsaturated pixels. You could, of course, go way over the top and do both. If we take vibrance the other way, again, turns it into monochrome. So, very important. Okay, so that's your basic panel. Let me see if there's a different photo. I don't want to keep using the exact same photo for everything. Let's do... Yeah, let's go ahead and do this one. All right. Now, we are going to go ahead and hit D for develop. We're going to get into the tonal curve. The tonal curve is crazy powerful. So it's got a little, the stapler accident finger right there. And you can come in, click, and drag on an image, and it's going to grab that point, that color, that area where you're at. Bring that back. So that's the first way it can be used. Now, you have a couple different things. As you can see, this is a square version of our histogram. See how they're exactly the same. If I go through and I select green, it's telling me that green right there, that point. If I select the reds, it's telling me how much reds. And as you can see, what we've got going is we've got the blues are up in this part, but then yellows down here. So if I want to bring out the blues and add more yellow, I can do that. If I want to do it to the top, yeah, add everything more blue overall. Do that. Let's go ahead, reset that back to 0. Now, doing an overall, you can select medium contrast, strong contrast. So if I want to do a strong contrast, you can see that it's added these pins to hold everything there. Let's go ahead, reset this image. So by clicking, I can add pins, and if I want to do a slight S curve, I can do that really quick and easy. Let's double click to reset it. Now this is using all the RGB channels, so this is everything. If you want to come in here and adjust it manually, instead of clicking within the curves, you can do the highlights. You've got the lights.
Stell dir vor, du erstellst eine komplett maßgeschneiderte App, einfach indem du daran denkst.
Oh. You have the darks. And you've got the shadows. So you have full control over all of that. Now, if you jump in and you just want to adjust the greens, I can say, okay, let's add more magenta into the highlights. So this up here in the top right, that is your highlights. Down, that's why it's white. Down here, the black is your shadows. So if I want to bring up, now I'm adding green just to the shadows. You can get really crazy if you want to. You can do a full swap of these and get it crazy. Now, I did this with the greens on. If we get back into the normal, it will turn this into, now pure white because everything is up there, a negative. All right. Now, for some people, they use these funky curves to really make some crazy images. So you can see how powerful the panel is. There are people that their workflow is mainly in the curves panel. It's one of those things, like, play with it, see what you can do. Like, this is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. This is funky. So there's a lot that you can do with it. All right. I'm not seeing any questions on the curve tool, so let's get into the color mixer. I love me the color mixer. This is such a fun panel. So we have mixer and point color. So let's start with point color, and I'm gonna grab the color, and maybe we should do something with more color. I say we do. Let's find something. I have to do the Tuscany trip. All right, let's let these load really quick. Yeah, this will work to get my point across. All right. Let's jump in. Point color. So let's grab our eyedropper and let's say that we're going to deal with this yellow. So for right now, it's giving me the color, and you can open up the box right there. You can adjust it. You can refine it. So if I want it right now to go to make that color darker or lighter, you have full control there. If I want to do a color refinement, I can sit there and move around, and all that yellow, now it's orange. So you can see right now it's telling me that this yellow has turned to this orange. That's what's going on. You can do this manually. You can do hue shifts from here. You can do a saturation shift from no saturation or a lot. You can do your luminance, which is your brightness. And then you can adjust the range, like how much you actually want to adjust. And you can even visualize it by clicking on it right there. All right, let's go ahead, reset that. The mixer, now the mixer is great. So you have a choice. You have HSL or color, and you can actually go through and pick the colors. I like the HSL, but then you've got that staple accident finger button. So if I click on it and Let me click on it and I jump here and I got that yellow again. Now you can see I am messing with the saturation of all the yellows, and you can see that the yellow slider and also the orange slider is slightly moving. We've got hue. So if we do it again, now I'm changing the hues. We've got luminance. We can make it bright or we can make it dark. Totally up to you. And then, let's reset it. Holding down the Option key and the reset comes up. You can have the hue open, the saturation open, the luminance open, or all open. So you can go either way, whatever it is your workflow is, depending upon what it is you want. So if we go in and we want the luminance, and I know I want to get the reds brighter, and let's zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. So you can make them darker, you can make the reds brighter right there. We can adjust any of the colors, the point colors, anything at all that you want with this panel. So this is really powerful. And I do this a lot when I don't like my greens. Reset that, hit G. And for those of you that know me, there are times in doing landscapes that just the greens kill me. Like too much green. And so I can jump into here and I can go into our hue, grab our greens, and we can make this more of a fall feeling color. Make it more interesting. You know, we could go way over the top with the hues, make it super green, or we can take it all the way down. Then if we wanted to, we can add saturation to those oranges, and you can really get something different. You can add some luminance. And so from that, we went from that green to that. More of a autumn feel. Lots of fun. Lots of fun. Let's reset that. Let's go ahead and find an image for some good color grading. All right. Color grading. First off, up here at the top, you've got your midtones, midtone shadows, and highlights. You can do these individually or have all three set up. Completely up to you. We've got blending, balance, luminance. So if we are dealing with, let's go with the highlights to begin with. So with the highlights, if I go ahead and I start moving this around, you can see I'm adding color and the hue and saturation is changing. So if I turn off that add, if I want to go ahead and give the highlights a little blue tint, I can do that. And if I hold down the Command key, it keeps the saturation where it's at, and it only changes the hue. So that's the Command key. If I hold down, if I hold down the Option key, oh, it's not doing. Is it Command Shift? It's not Control. It's the Shift key. It keeps the hue where it's at, and it only adjusts the saturation. So, if you want to do some fun color grading here, let's just do something totally different. Let's add some blues into the shadows. Let's jump over to our midtones. We're going to add some different ones. Let's get into our highlights, and we'll do the opposite orange in the highlights right there. So doing a quick color grading right there, you can go from a image that looks like that to just adding some more interesting color. That is your colors. Now, you can do this. This is just like Photoshop. You have many different ways to do things. If you want to do color grading in your curves panel, you can. So just depending upon where you are comfortable. Okay, let's go ahead and reset that. And let's do something good for... we can do the statue in the park. Yeah. Yes, let's do the statue in the park. Go ahead, hit D. Let's get into our lens blur. And we're going to go ahead and hit apply. And that's analyzing the image and creating a depth map. Look at that. The second time that we're using depth maps today. So, first off, you have blur amount. So you can go way over the top with the blur. You can take it down. If there were lights, you can add bokeh. I may look for something, the different styles of bokeh, the cat eye and boost. Maybe I'll do that. Then we have how to target. So you can target a person or a subject, or you can target and use that target and say, I want this to be in focus. And you can see down here, it's giving me that focal range of where I selected. Now, I can adjust this. I can move this and I can say, I want the dog. And you put the pizza guy on the dog. I could in Illustrator. I could in Photoshop. Not in Lightroom because we don't have layers in Lightroom. So we could. So if I decide I want to invert this, I could invert it. We can do that. Now it's got the dog, and this is much, much better. I was thinking I was going to have to brush her out. If you want to visualize the depth map, you can do that. So it's telling me that the foreground is on the same plane as the dog. And then we've got the purple in the background, and it all matches up with this right here. So we can do that. Now, let's just say that I want to do a brush adjustment and I want to add blur to the foreground. So I'm going to grab my brush and brush through like so. And you can always go less, go more. Okay. And let's just take this all out of focus. Take that all out of focus. Make sure to get that bottom. All right, now focus, making sure I didn't get too much of the dog. Take that out. And let's say I do want the woman in focus. So I can actually come in here and paint and bring her back into focus. I can bring this up to 100. And now it looks like she's under the dog. That's what it looks like. It's totally changed the depth, the feeling of the image. So you can go through, do all of that. Now, auto mask, not a clue if we hit auto mask. Did it add a mask? No. Okay. Go ahead, reset that photo. Let's continue on. Let's get into our effects. And let's get a different image. Go right here. We've got our effects. So first off, we've got these two guys walking down the street, and we have our vignette. If you want to go an old school 1900s Western portrait, you can take the vignette over to the right, and that's going to give it, turn it white. If you go to a -100, it will give it black. You can adjust the midpoint that you want. You can adjust the roundness. You can have it round, or you can give it like an old style film. You can give it the feathers, so you can turn it off actually and have it look like a frame. And then of course you can take the highlights out, make it so that it's not affecting the highlights up here, or the highlights aren't affecting it. So you can do some pretty cool stuff. You know, you can go totally round, square, whatever you want, whatever you want. That's always fun to play with. Now, personally, holding down options, we're going to reset our crop. I like to just give a small vignette. Now, if you are going for something, let's say if you're going for something very specific with your vignette, like I want to really get these guys to pop out. What you can do is you can go into your mask, you can do a radial gradient, and we can go ahead. I'm going to put that right there. We're going to give a little bit of an exposure. We're going to come up here and we're going to duplicate and invert that mask. And this time we're going to bring down our exposure. And we're going to make this a little bit bigger. And I'm going to go over the top, but I would not do this. So you can really customize a vignette by using masks. You know, you can almost make it look like a spotlight is coming in. And just hitting these guys. Whoa, get back here. Okay, where'd you go? Yeah, you know, something like that. So you can play around with those masks. Go ahead, out of the masks. And next off, go ahead and reset this image. We're going to zoom in. And a lot of times people like to add grain. Add some grain into the image. This can help. You can make it huge grain. You can add extra roughness. Do I recommend this? Absolutely not. There's just some people prefer to add a little bit of grain so it doesn't look so digital. Make sure to zoom in when you're adding grain, just adding a little bit of grain. Very minute, but it's helpful. Okay, now coming up, let's go ahead. Calibration. I don't use this. I don't use this. So we've got our tints in the shadows. So you can go through, you can turn them green, you can make the shadows go more magenta. Your primary red, let's get back here. You can see with our flowers. If you want to adjust the hue, you can add saturation into just the reds. Same thing with the greens. We can do a hue shift on the greens. We can add or take away saturation just with the primary greens. And same thing with the blues. I don't think we've got any blues. Let's find a quick blue image. We've got blue here. And you can do a hue shift with the primary blue and a saturation with the blue. I don't use this because I have all those controls elsewhere. Some people may like this workflow, and that's perfectly fine. Okay. I am going to, let me see, do I have any nights? No, let's get back to Positano. Find that really noisy photos when we're out walking around. Here we go. Okay, so this was shot ISO 800. Ooh, this might be a good one to try the bokeh on because of all these lights. Let's do it. Let's do it. What do you say, people? So let's do, first off, let's open the shadows up a little bit. Bring our exposure up. We've got a lot of greens happening in here. That's blue now. That's okay. I'm fine with that. We can bring that down just. There we go. There we go. Like that. Okay, so we're gonna get in and we're going to do. Frank, have a great day. Thanks for being here. Let's do a lens blur. Let's apply. Okay, so it kind of blurred everything. Let's grab our point. We're gonna grab that point right there. And let's get this really small. Let's visualize so we can see where we're going. Okay, so it's saying that's back there. Okay, let's do a blur. And let's make our brush bigger. Oh, look at those pop. Look at those pop as I'm painting over those lens. Oh, where'd you go? So you have choices of the type of bokeh that you would like. I usually like those. That's kind of nice too. So you can go ahead and add what type of bokeh that you would like. And say the blur amount, and as you add blur, it's going to be making them bigger. I don't like that. I don't like that. I do like that. So, Jack! Hi, Jack. Good to see ya. Mocha Bokeh. Mocha Bokeh, please. All right, so let's go ahead, reset this. Reset this image. Up here, you can see we've got not a lot of noise. Can't stay long. I have to get ready for a dentist appointment this morning. I may be late to the Firefly event, but not too late. Just a few minutes, hopefully. Okay, I can hold down the fort. All right, so that worked well for the bokeh. Trying to see. Got a lot of noise. Got a lot of noise. That's a lot of noise. Okay, we've got noise. See the noise down here? Nice. Let's get into our detail. Which place did you travel? All of these. Positano, Tuscany, the Tuscany region. Well, you can see over here that we've got, all these places. Well, let me switch sides. All these places in Germany, a lot more in Italy than just those two. Those are decent. Gatehorn. Then we've got Belgium, Bergen, Budapest, Bucharest, Copenhagen, Crete, the Cruise, that's Scandinavia, Dubrovnik, England, Fjords, that's Scandinavian. I broke it up. Helsinki, Iceland, Ireland again, Istanbul, Italy, Swiss, that was a combined trip, London, Madeira, Malta, Northern Ireland, Netherlands, Oslo, Porto, Prague, Pula, Rome, Santorini, Scotland, again, Slovenia, Spain, Stockholm, Switzerland, Venice, and then a bunch of places, Quebec City, a bunch of places in the United States, obviously. So, yeah, I've traveled. Oh, I didn't want to go to Garmisch. Garmisch was nice. Okay, let me close that. Let's get back into... Where the heck were we? Where image were we on? I've been to... Is it 42 countries now? Something like that. Did not denoise this. What did I do with this image? Not a lot. I didn't do a lot. Okay, good. We can use this image. We have a ton of noise. You can see it in the trees, see it all around. This is recommended. Let's switch sides. This is recommended to be the first thing that you want to do to an image before you start anything. Can I ask you one question? You can ask me more than one question. I'm DB Cinema. 8499. Welcome in. Good to see you. Yeah, ask away. That's why I'm here. So, everybody, Adobe recommends the very first thing that you do when you get a noisy image is to denoise it before you do any global editing whatsoever. I have, let's see, all I've done is I believe I hit auto just to open up some of the global edits, but we're going to come down to detail and we're going to hit denoise. Now, the reason you want to do this before anything at all is because it's using AI. So while this is generating, I will answer DB really quick. Why in Lightroom Classic in the library shows original color, but in the develop shows overlight over color without an edit? Are you shooting raw? Oh, that did a wonderful job. Oh, that did a great job. So you have the slider here, so you can bring the amount down and let it do the minimal. Now, at times you may feel like, okay, this is doing too much. It's softened the image too much. You can try sharpening, and let's get back into here. You can see, well, that's really the before. Okay, I'll answer that as soon as I'm done with this panel. You can get in here and try to sharpen it, but I would recommend jumping in and running a high pass filter in Photoshop. But you can play around with the sharpening here, get what you like. Also masking, holding down the Option key with the mask. White reveals, black conceals. So if you want to just edit the edges like a high pass filter, use the masking, and then you can get in and kind of have the same effect with a little bit more work. But that did a great job. We still have up here in our darks, so I could crank it back up a little bit. I don't mind it. I don't mind a little bit of that noise and grain that you've got going in there. Okay, then you have the manual. This is the old manual noise reduction sliders. They're going to keep the old sliders. They're not going to get rid of them because some people like using them. I'm not going to use them. Not with denoise. Denoise kicks butt. Okay. We have gone through the entire development panel. Possibly we may get into prints on Thursday and or start Photoshop. But let me bring open something here. All right. It shows in the library, it shows original color, but in develop, it shows over light, over color without an edit. Let me think here. Let me grab something. The Dira will have to load. Okay, so right now I'm in the library mode and it's bringing up the previews. So when you imported, you have a choice of what the previews are going to be. Now, you can go 1-to-1, which means that your backup file is going to be huge, or you can do a minimal preview, which when you do that, this is what happens. Lightroom is going to the image and creating these previews before I jump in. Okay, so you're saying that from here, let's grab an unedited image. Grab that one. Now, let's hit D for develop. Now I'm zoomed in. Let's go grid. If this one's got me stumped, I gotta say, because if you have anything set up on import, let's get into our preferences. If you have anything set up on import, like I've got it set up, whereas any of my images that I import that are from this camera will automatically do the remove chromatic aberrations, I can speak, and enable profile corrections. That's it. But if you had anything else as a quick edit on import, which you can do, it would still show up the same way. Why would you do that? Why would it change? But like right now, I'm in library mode. You can see it up here, library. If I go into develop mode, nothing changes. So I'm trying to think to make sure you're still paying attention. Bug. Because even in this mode, okay. So I'm still in library mode. Up here, you've got quick develop, and you can go in and hit auto. Okay, so I've made changes. If I go into develop, you can see my panels, my edits have changed. Okay, let's reset this. Let's get back in here. If I do a preset, we're gonna go, that's from the library. This is not doing anything. Let's reset. Let's get back into our I have never known that hitting S will create a proof copy. That is brand new to me. Wow. Okay. Stay focused, Shawn. Still in the library. Let's go to presets. Let's go to user presets. And there we go, black and white. Okay. So we're still there. If I go to develop from there, the edit's going to be there. That preset's going to be there. Why would have you? But in my case, it changes. I'm trying to figure this out. Have you optimized your catalog in the last few days? Very important to do. Because this is something I've never heard of. But in Photoshop Camera Raw, it is good. It shows same, and I can color grade it as I want. Are you okay? Have you optimized your calendar? Are you running the most up-to-date Lightroom Classic? Jack, good luck. Unfortunately, I have to go. At least I got a few minutes of peace this morning to hang out with you. I'm glad you were here, Jack. I will see you in a few hours. Good luck. It's coming in different in the develop. Oh, you got me with this one. I have never seen this. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I've never had that happen, and I've never heard of it happen. And unfortunately, our IT guy, Oliver, is not here. That's got that read the side card. Sidecar. Yeah, I honestly, I don't know what to tell you. You will need to go to the Adobe forums. One quick second, everybody, hang out. No, not really. Wait, you haven't optimized? Have you optimized your catalog? That needs to be done. And are you up to date? I can't run some of the new features. Some of the new features on my older computer. Okay, I put a link in chat. This is the Adobe Forms if you are not familiar with it. You can search for things, you can ask questions. So if you wanted, we've got the Photoshop. Let's explore more communities. I don't use Lightroom, so I won't be much help. I don't completely understand the problem. The thumbnails looks good, but it's wrong in the development. That's what it sounds like, Rick. I think the library shows the camera JPEG preview, and develop shows the actual RAW with Adobe's default profile, so brightness and colors change. Photoshop Camera Raw matches the camera profile better, so it looks correct. No, Vikram. Oh, come on. You are freaking killing me today. Let's jump over. Oh, that's not where I want to go. Okay. Let me find Oh my gosh, YouTube. Let me find an old... Okay. Let's find something. It's not edited. Well, we can reset. So Vikram, what's happening with these images is it has the raw image, and Lightroom Classic is looking at the raw image. And then there's a sidecar that is next to the image. And so as I scroll through, and you can see these change. So it's the raw image, but then it reads the sidecar, the edit, and it applies the edit to the image as it's going. So, okay, why in the world did I edit every single freaking photo? Okay, let's take that. Let's go into develop. And what? Hey, why has calibration been done to this? All right, let's reset it. Just telling what is in my mind as if I am right or wrong. I was thinking that same process, Vikram. And so the whole thing, what I was thinking is if I'm in library mode right here, and if I go over to develop, there's no change. There's no change at all. So it is not showing, Lightroom Classic is not showing me the JPEG, which would have been processed. And if I even come here to the basics and I grab a profile and let's do a vivid profile, that is, and it didn't do a ton of difference, but that's what it would look, the JPEG would look like if it was processed. Let's go ahead and reset that back to standard. I used to shoot RAW and JPEG, and I do have libraries that have both. And the interesting thing, it even says in the title, it will say JPEG plus the file name and NEF. And I can't remember when I did that. Hey, are we doing the doodle game? We don't have much time left. Oh, everybody's on ads. Okay. I honestly cannot see. I can't tell how that would happen. Oh. That's what I was gonna do. Let's see here. Lightroom shows only on pixels. Okay. Lightroom CC develop tab not working. Pictures. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Pictures look different between develop and library. I wonder if he's still here. BC, are you still here? Hi everyone. I'm having a weird new issue with Lightroom Classic when I switch back to the library after I have finished editing a photo. It's like only some of the edits are coming through. Oh, you're in ad jail. Well, this one's saying it was edited. Looking at your screenshots on my secondary monitor, I don't see any real difference between the two. Here they put together in Photoshop. Recalibrate your monitor. Recalibrate your monitor? That's almost always the reason for a mismatch between a library and develop? Okay. This has nothing to do. The colors are identical in library and develop. They're saying okay, this is different. They're saying they're having the issue. I know. A community expert, I know it's going. They're saying just to make one-to-one. I don't understand how monitor calibration would help. Making one-to-one previews. Oh! Switching of the GPU in performance solved the problem. So in my, okay, all right, let's, my previews are minimal. They're not one-to-one. So if it's saying that, because I'm looking at the preview right now, it's minimal. And they're saying that that to that would be different. Okay. Let's go Lightroom preferences. GPU performance. Okay. I have it set up for auto. Now I'm on a Mac. Some of you may have more control over what GPU. Oh, preview generation. Okay, this is what it is. Oh, I bet you this is the problem. I will bet you that's the problem. Well, if he or she, they, let me see what their name was again. IMDb on YouTube. Lightroom Classic preferences, performance, camera raw, graphic processors. Check out what you got there. Give them a whoa, what just happened? Make sure to check that out. Oh, I hit learn more. Okay, people over on Twitch, are we doing the doodle game? Bam. All right. I don't know why we keep syncing one photo. I don't even know what photo it's trying to sync. All right. Let's go ahead. We're going to shut that down. Shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down. Okay, everybody. At the end of the stream, kind of as a decompress.
Clever
Yeah,
Devlin just redeemed Doodle Game.
As a way to decompress and call it a day, I'd like to do a little Pictionary doodle game. I will. Let me get ready here, and I will be doodling, and you in chat get to guess what it is. Oh, I'm starting on easy, and boy, is it easy. The last question caught you serious, right? Yeah. Well, because it's something I've never came across. So, yeah. All right. Orbit. Draw a monkey, a bathtub. Oh, you're here. I'm watching you. Hope you could see the solution from the reply. Okay, you might be backwards. Or you might, hopefully that fixes your problem. Did you catch what I was showing? And I know I'm spending a lot of time on this, but as a community expert, as an Adobe community expert, this is my job, is trying to help everybody out. So I would like to know, and you can let me know on YouTube, send a comment on YouTube, letting me know if that fixes it, if your GPU settings were messing it up. So let me know. Okay, everybody ready? Here we go. Oh, you got a new name there. Hey, Alex. I see bread. A face. Dragon, a monkey. A baby. Nephew asking if you have games on your phone. A rabbit, a beaver. Oh, now it's going kind of demony. A hare. A piggy, a pig. A cornucopia. Ears. Ear. Alessandra got ear. Umacorn got ear. Dupebug got ear. Ear. Earlobe. We've got Dupe got it. And Umacorn was like 1 second. Where was it? Yep, 1 second behind. So they both came up. Boom, boom. All right. That was a lot of drawing for an ear. But that's okay. Rigged. Maybe. Maybe. Well, do bugs in Germany, I'm assuming. So it might be, you know, the latency. Okay, let's kick it up to medium. Did we do that? No. No. We did something else. Okay. All right. Please be gentle with bubbles. Bubbles. Pebbles. Planets. Solar system. Vikram. Vikram. And Penny. And Alessandra. Solar system. Oh my gosh. Good job. I mean, I could have just done that. Oh my gosh. Oh, Vikram. Good job. Okay. All right. Kicking it up to hard. I got it, Vikram. I'm assuming English is not your first language, so I'm actually quite impressed with that. Oh, how is this hard? Um, I am gonna go American here, people. So crosswalk, a plug, ring the bell, crosswalk. A cord, a plug, an outlet. a charger, a network. Yeah, what's this chart? Whoops. Office telephone. You guys are like all over. Phone charger. But what is this? What's the top thing? You know what? No. I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give it to you, dude. I'm gonna give it to you. Technically it was cell phone charger. But who says cell phone anymore? So I'm gonna give that to Dupe. That's an executive decision. But it was cell phone charger. Hello? Hello? Why would you want to charge your cellophane? My cellophane. Cell phone charger. Okay. Let's turn this up to really hard. I don't know if I'm going to be able to draw this. But we can try. We can try. Can try. A hat, a top hat. Monopoly. A magic hat. Wealthy. A sippy cup. Scarecrow, Shawn in an opera. Chimney sweep, Sherlock Holmes. Heisenberg, Abraham Lincoln. The Riddler. Oh, you. 80 synth player. Dark, welcome in. Joker, the Riddler, Musketeer, Phantom Magician. Vikram and Devlin are on the right track. Oh my gosh. Harry Houdini? Okay. Villain! Devlin! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh! Devlin, great job. Oh my gosh. Villain. Oh. I was just, oh. I'm pretty proud of that drawing. That's pretty good. That was going in the right direction. Totally going like 1950s with the little good looking old school villain. Thank you, Devlin. All right. That had me nervous. That one had me nervous. Okay, what time is it? 3 o'clock. We got time for a couple more. Oh, we did that one. Ooh. How? This should be very hard, but it's under hard. By the way, Darth, welcome in. I did see you. Wow. I don't know how to draw this. I'll wave back. Well, in fact, thank you, everybody, for playing along with me, putting up with my horrible drawing. And thanks for being here. Okay. I am. This is a tough one. I mean, I could cheat. A beach. No, a beach would be easy. This is not a physical thing. Liverwurst? Bangers. Back? Or welcome back, Umacorn. Internet signboard. Hold on. A card. Stream. My shoulders aren't that big. Vacation. Okay, now this is just getting ridiculous. Scenic overlook spa welcome sign. Streaming. Okay, so yeah, you guys see what I'm doing here. Host. Yep. Shawn Kozel stream. Yes. What am I? Intro live stream. Host, campground, photographer, What are a lot of people in chat and they have the same title as me? Expert! Umacorn. That's so cheating. That is so cheating. I had Smart. Okay, chat. What would you draw for an expert? I could not think of anything. Okay. That was a tough one. I don't know if I want to do real hard. I know that word. I don't even know what it is. Oh. Oh. Journeyman. Yeah. Okay, y'all are gonna, you're gonna recognize this. Maybe. Oval, glass, boogeyman, stump. Teacup, cake, an e-cake. E-cake. Cake, a panic button. Candles. Wish! Oh my god, Darth! Darth got it! Oh my gosh! Oh! Darth got it, Uma got it. Okay, I see celebration. I'm making sure I didn't miss anybody. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yep. Wow. Shooting star could also say wish. Yeah, is it as common as a birthday wish? Ours. Okay. Great job. Great job. Wow. Wow. Okay, we're going to do one more. Not really hard. We're going to do hard. I don't think this is going to be fun, so I'm not doing it. Oh. Why? All right. All right. This can go many ways. a stick, a limousine, slice of American cheese, a thermometer, temperature, mercury, hot, hot, hot. Cold, freezing, Alaska. Degrees. Degree. Oh my gosh. Why does this taste bad? Scale. Umacorn got it with degrees. Oh my gosh, Uma. Uma's killing it. You did. Why am I screwing that up so bad? I forgot to spell. Uma. Bam. Okay. Let's go ahead and save that. All right, everybody. Jack and I are going to be live today in a little more than an hour and a half on the Firefly Discord. I have no idea what we're doing, so if you want to come on by and hang out, you're more than welcome. Adobe Live will be starting afterwards, so in a couple hours. Adobe Live will be starting up in 3 hours. Darth will be there. Do you have a Darth? Do you have a different name? Like from Behance? Do we know you? That would be 10:30 p.m. for me, Vikram says. I don't recognize the icon. I think I'm just Chris over on Discord. Oh, Chris. Okay. Cool. Oh, you're that Chris. I know who you are. I know who you are. Let's see. What else we got going on? I think that's really all the announcements. You do indeed. I do. I do. So Thursday, we're going to be finishing up on... Oh, Devlin, why is... Hold on, let me allow this. Why is that? Don't worry about him. I'll kick him if he gets frisky. Why was that? Why was that blocked? Okay. So we're going to continue on in Lightroom Classic come Thursday. We're going to be diving into Photoshop. And also anything else. So, if, you know, like today, if you have tangents, if you've got questions, if you need help, please ask. I like them. All right, everybody, I gotta go. Have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, stay creative, and just be nice. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for playing the Doodle game. And I'll be seeing you in chat. Bye, everyone. Winter finished right, Shawn. I thought you finished Lightroom. Oh, Rick, I may be jumping into printing. I really, the printing module is really strong. And I think I'm going to be jumping into the printing module. So we can just go over it before we jump into Photoshop. But good question. All right, everybody, have a great day. Bye. Gotta show live printing. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. That's an expensive stream, Vikram. Live printing. That's an expensive stream. So, all right. Bye, everyone.